When it comes to shoulders, one of the worst things that can happen to you is this phenomenon called impingement. Now, typically when we think of impingement, we think about the relationship of the shoulder to the scapula. But the hidden relationship, the relationship that usually makes everything better, is the relationship between the scapula and the body. If we can restore and optimize this relationship, we can knock out impingement in a few easy steps. Step one, you're gonna need a lacrosse ball or some kind of small ball. Now the idea here is that when you put your arm over your head, that scapula has to rotate up. And if it can't rotate because the rib is stiff or you have soft tissue blocking that motion, you end up with a traffic accident. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this ball and we're gonna put it in the upper relationship of the back between the scapula and the spine itself, somewhere in the middle of the traps. So what we're gonna do first is arms up, thumbs pointing backwards, and I'm gonna bridge up and try to put some weight into this ball. For a lot of us, we're already gonna feel some pressure here, that's okay. Now notice that my arm actually isn't in an overhead position. And the magic here is to try to take the thumb and touch the ground right near my ear as far as I can. I'm just gonna work back and forth for 20 reps, trying to go as far as I can, understanding that I'm ultimately gonna be limited by the mechanics on the ball. If I can clear this mechanism, I'm going to improve that scapular relationship and ultimately improve my symptoms of impingement. Step two in our impingement solution is not to just clear the scapula, but to get the scapula to rotate more effectively. Now, on the side of your body here, there's a muscle called the serratus anterior. What that does is it grabs the back of the scapula and rotates the scapula out of the way of the moving arm. So if that scapula rotates out of the way and elevates, the arm is never going to impinge. The easiest way to address that is to cue some rotation, but with a little bit of load. So what we have here is just a simple rubber band caught between two of the squat racks at the gym. But this could be a doorway, this could even be a bungee cord. What I'm gonna do is start with just about shoulder height in an impingement-free area, shoulder pain-free area. I reach underneath with my thumb. And what I'm gonna do is just put a little load into this by stretching out, and then I'm gonna try to rotate thumb up. And the goal here is not to rotate through just the wrist, but to get as much rotation through the arm as I can. What I'm gonna shoot for is a good solid rotation, a hold, and I'm gonna do, again, about 15 to 20 of these. This will be my first intervention. Now, as this progresses, I can begin to take this up and exaggerate this rotation with a little bit more arm overhead position, ultimately working into a pain-free range, and again, cueing my ability to bring my armpit forward and activate that serratus anterior through this rotation. Notice, I grab the band and thumb goes backwards as armpit comes forward. If I can create strong rotational forces here, I'll work towards massively unimpinging that shoulder. Step three of our impingement solution involves something that's a little counterintuitive, and that's actually hanging. So we have a basic concept that is we need to mobilize at the position of restriction. Now, one of the things that we're seeing in athletes go overhead and then they have shoulder pain when they do it is they're not actually spending a lot of time in this overhead position. The key and magic around hanging is that we get to bias good overhead position first, where the arm scapular relationship are set, and then we move the body on the fixed and traction shoulder-arm-body relationship. It's pretty simple. The idea here is that I can start to scale this because I have my feet on the ground and work on positions where I'm pain-free and at the limits of my range of motion. So the first thing I'm gonna do is try to grab the bar overhead. I don't even have to exaggerate arm over the center of my body. I can be in a stable and safe position. I'm gonna traction down, and instead of spending time here on reps, we're gonna count breaths. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that I can breathe into this for 5 solid breaths. All the way in, trying to get my thoracic spine to inflate as I'm tractioning the arm. As my position changes, I can begin to add and scale load. I don't have to take my full body on it, but hanging one arm at a time with my legs underneath. Again, trying to be in groups of 5 breaths as my timer. Once I've started to feel comfortable, and I've done a couple warm-ups, I can also start to change my grip. So now I'm going to put myself into a mechanically more stable position. Palms facing, traction the arm, then start to hang down. So again, I don't have to go to full, try to grab up and hang from this shape. I get to exaggerate arms straight, traction through the system, and then lengthening the body on the scapular relationship. Again, trying to use my breathing as a timer. 5 breaths before I change position. Once I've got 5 of those, I'm now gonna go back into double overhand. I'm gonna get my hands close together. This ultimately is taking my arm into its fullest range of motion and normal expression of what's possible in the shoulder joint. Double hands up, traction back, start to feel stable, engage, find a comfortable position, loading and unloading appropriately using my legs to scale the movement, and then 5 breaths. And this is the magic, trying to breathe into this shape, letting my brain know I own this position and that I can breathe here, mobilizes the tissues while I simultaneously desensitize and normalize this overhead position. These are the 3 relationship builders between the scapula and the body that help you manage your impingement.